Hi, Beck Mack here, and I'm at QAGOMA in the most opulent, sensual, divine, grand room that's full of so many hundreds, not hundreds, stories from hundreds of years of history and knowledge and ideas, but love and passion and deception. And I'm here with Geraldine Barlow, who is a big part of bringing this incredible show. It's the European Masters. How are you?
I'm well back. So excited to have this show open. It's been years in the making, and we're thrilled to be welcoming people to the gallery.
Every time I come into this space, my breath just gets taken away. Like and I'm not even going in close to the detail, just being in the room and present with the works. For you, bringing it together, how do you feel right now?
We're so excited. I think, you prepare for a show like this. You're looking at reproductions and things online and checking things for the publication, but suddenly the artworks arrive. They come out of their crates and they're so beautiful, and they really take you back in time and they touch you. I think people are really wanting to tell stories, speak about things that they're passionate about. It might be faith, it might be teasing a cat, a love affair, deception, as you say, picking someone's pocket. There are some great stories within this show.
And like you as a curator, I love how you do your work. It's highly intelligent, and you find such interesting ways to juxtapose surprising ideas and unexpected twists and turns. Was that part of did you help bring the work together and how it's placed in the room?
Yeah, this show was quite different for me personally. So as an institution, we're working with the Met and the Met's curatorial team. So Adam Eker, one of the lead curators there, came up with the idea for the three chapters of the exhibition, and working with his colleagues, they selected these works, which are really highlights from the European paintings collection. They have a major project occurring at the moment where the skylights of the Met building, the European painting galleries, have been replaced so that the works can be seen under daylight but augmented by artificial light. So a major construction project, and that enabled these incredible works, many of which are not ever off permanent display, to make the long journey to Australia and to Brisbane at this incredible time in our global history. And I was saying as we walked into the exhibition that with the Fra Angelico work, that was painted not so long after Europe was devastated by the plague. And so there are these works where you get a sense of the human impact of death, the celebration of new life, a child being born. These are timeless stories, and these treasures that themselves have, travelled through time to kind of tell us a story from our ancestors, our fellow human beings from days gone by.
It's almost magical, with wanting for a better word. And I think like they're survivors. Like as you said, they've survived pandemics and wars and fires and but somehow they're still present. Like it's remarkable.
Yeah. And I think like we're standing in front of a work by the French artist Georges de la Tour, and he writes here. This little inscription mentions the town of Luneville where he lived, and the area where he was painting. At this time, like the powers, the military powers were kind of moving about and contesting these areas. And I read this account of the riches and wealth of that town, many of which were destroyed. It was laid siege, and so many of these treasures didn't survive through time. And in fact, his work was really rediscovered later on. So sometimes we have artists here like Caravaggio just along the wall whose incredible talent was recognised, and he became an icon, almost immediately as he was working. And then other artists who kind of, faded a little from awareness, and then have come back to us. And and a work like this is now so popular at the Met and one of their great treasures. So we're really honoured to have these works here with us.
Let's briefly talk about this, because there is so much going on in this one image, and there is deception, there's robbery, there's seduction, like there's eyes, there's fashion. Can you I'm going to hand the mic to you now, and you're going to give a little talk about it.
Yeah, so imagine here we've got this young man, and perhaps like the young youths in Caravaggio's work, he's been kind of walking through the town down a back alley, and he comes upon this group of gypsy women, and they're all quite fabulously dressed. And perhaps this old lady here has offered to read his fortune. This was a popular subject to paint at the day, but Georges de Latour's really made his own version of the subject and surrounded her by other young gypsy companions. And so whilst she's in the process of telling his fortune, and perhaps he's a little distracted, we can see her companions robbing him. So, this lady is lifting this kind of treasure with its beautiful silk braid and tassel from the pocket of his fabulous orange trousers. And this radiant young woman here seems to have something like a set of pliers out, and she's snipping this chain slung across his shoulder, just releasing the medallion. So what was he thinking, stepping out so grandly dressed? And it's really an intriguing work. He seems to be this grand young man, but then he has these black edges to his fingernails, which is quite an intriguing detail. And I also really was so interested to read that about 20 years before this work was painted, the Spanish writer Miguel de Cervantes had released a novella called La Gitana, so the young gypsy girl, and it tells a story of a young gypsy girl, Preciosa, a young noble girl who's raised by gypsies, and later she meets a young nobleman, they fall in love, and she kind of rediscovers that other part of her heritage. But she's kind of undercover for a period, and so you see here Preciosa, with this radiant, pale face. So I would say now not very politically correct in but in some ways, I suppose we all have our different tribes, and what I like about that story is that there's a sense that there's a nobility even amongst the gypsies, and that maybe the more elevated nobles, and not only the only kind of higher source. So there are so many layers to this work, and the costume.
And I know, and you haven't even got onto those. And I guess just to wrap things up, like as you just displayed, the levels of complexity and detail and story and threads that like weave into the social, cultural, historical moments, these paintings almost pinpoint and spotlight. Like as an experience for people to come and like connect with, say, 65 works that are as grand or immense or moving, what do you hope people will come away with if they come to this exhibition?
I hope that they'll, really enjoy imagining what the stories might be that sit behind these works. We have here works that are icons of art history. There's so much reading that you can do, but when an artist is a great artist, they tell you a story that touches you. And so I think the gallery is a space for emotion and storytelling. And, we have, 500 years of storytelling. We can have human stories here, but also the story of artistic innovation and creativity. And hopefully that will spark people's own excitement to make work. My colleagues have made a fabulous kind of situation out in the centre of the gallery here, really encouraging people to draw and explore the history of the works in different ways. But I think also to come and sit quietly and contemplate and take this journey through time with us.
It's so beautiful. And thank you so much. You know so much and you deliver it so eloquently. It's always a beautiful joy to talk to you. Thank you.